What about a scary story?
No, I said what?
Oh, I was just reading your chat.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, do you have a scary story?
Kind of. Yeah, I have a few.
Okay, let's hear it.
How about the time when I decided to go kayaking in an overflowing river?
Okay.
It was normally about 1 foot deep, but on this particular day, it was 10 feet deep.
Okay.
So my friend had a camp out in the forest, and it was really cool to go out there and hang out and do stupid stuff, right? And I went with my friend. We would go all the time. It was a thing we used to do, right? For some reason, there was like some torrential downpour, like the night that we pulled up there. And I kid you not, like the entire like area was basically flooding. There was like a narrow creek that was about like 1 foot deep. You would have to like walk down like basically like a cliff face to get to the bottom.
Okay.
Because it was like 10 feet deep. It was like the Grand Canyon, except only like 10 feet deep, right?
Okay.
So I went down there the day before and I'm like messing around with the creek. We're just doing stupid stuff, you know, chasing frogs, whatever the frick humans do. Picking up sticks, the usual. And it starts raining, so we go inside and we climb out of the effing like gorge, basically. So the next day we go outside, and unironically, it has gone from, you know, like a cliff that you walk down to get to the river to the point where it's like literally like a foot over that.
Okay.
And like it's deeper than a swimming pool now. So we get the bright idea of saying like, okay, well, basically this entire place is covered in a foot of water. So good thing the house is built upon like stakes or stands or the frick that like, you know, prevent the water from getting there. If you walk down the stairs to go walk around to where the cars are, foot of water.
Oh,
So we
shit.
decide to bust out the kayak, and I'm with my friend and her mom. We get in the kayak and we just start kayaking around. We
Okay.
go and kayak from our house to like another house that's in the neighborhood, and that was like what a neighborhood, whatever, in the forest. It's like a quarter of a mile away. We finally get there, and then we hear this loud rushing sound, and we're like, "What the frick? What's that?" And we realize that's where the river curves around past this house too. So we're like, "Okay, well that seems pretty fun. You know, maybe we should go there, maybe not. Maybe we should go check it out." So we swim over to the river because it's so effing loud, and suddenly it starts pulling on the entire effing like canoe thingy, whatever it's kayak canoe, and it's like pulling us towards the middle of it. And we realize after a certain point, like there's no paddling backwards. We're just in the river now, and we get pulled into it. So this thing is like hightailing 10 feet of water per second down this river, and I kid you not, it was a massive storm. So as we're going down, we're like dodging trees and branches that are literally underwater, and they fell off of trees. Halfway through the river, there is unironically just an entire log that fell over the river.
Oh,
because
shit.
it fell on the ground, but the ground is now river level, right?
Yeah.
So it's literally at face height. Like the canoe would run into it face on. So we only have one option, right? It's either smack that effing thing face on and fall into the water, or just get out the canoe, right?
Okay, yeah.
So we make the decision. We get out the effing canoe, and we're just subjecting ourselves to a rapid surge of a lake river just like flowing to it, right? And that's not the end of the problem, because now that you got out of the canoe, there's a gigantic tree in front of you, and you don't know, like, if you go under the water to try to get under the tree, are there branches down there? Are you gonna get stuck? Will you come up on the other side? So for my friend and her mom, they couldn't do it, but I grabbed the log, the tree, and pulled myself out of the water on top of it. They had to go underneath it. I waited a few seconds, and they managed to pop out on the other side. At this point, we're all in fear of our lives, right? And for some reason, you know, I was completely safe at that point. I could just walk back to the cabin, but I saw them in the river, so I just jumped back in, and we were just floating down the river again together. And there was this point where like there was like a tree that fell over and all its branches were in the water. We started like getting slapped and dragged across it, but it pushed us like towards the edge of the river. And eventually someone was my friend's mom was able to grab a branch of a tree, and then she grabbed her daughter's hand, and her daughter grabbed my hand. And we like did some effing movie moment magic where we put ourselves out of the effing water and out onto the you know, onto like the foot of water that was like more calm. And after that, we had to trudge a quarter of a mile through a forest back to where we came from, soaking wet, tired as frick. And the worst part is we lost our shoes.
Oh,
And the
no.
entire ground was covered in thorns.
What? How did you
Yeah.
like how did you manage to get home then with that? Like, just how did you walk through that?
our friend's mom, she still had her shoes, so she gave her shoes to me. So I don't know how she made it home. It sucked
Oh
for her.
no.
But yeah, that was terrible. So yeah, definitely almost died because we're idiots.